Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, it's a brand new day, it's a brand new week, and can you believe this week we're saying goodbye to June and welcoming in July? We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Monday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with Kristie Wolfe discussing how Airbnb is helping some creators to cash in on some amazing ideas. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In international news, Russia strikes Kyiv as Western leaders meet in Europe. Russia shattered weeks of relative calm in the Ukrainian capital with long-range missiles fired toward Kyiv early Sunday, an apparent Kremlin show of force as Western leaders meet in Europe to strengthen their military and economic support of Ukraine. Kyiv mayor said the missiles hit at least 2 residential buildings, and President Zelensky said a 37-year-old man was killed and his 7-year-old daughter and wife were injured. The Associated Press journalist saw emergency workers battling flames and rescuing civilians. The strikes also damaged a nearby kindergarten where a crater pocked the courtyard. U.S. President Joe Biden called the attacks barbarism after he arrived in Germany for a Group of 7 summit. Later Sunday, a local official reported a second death, telling a news agency that a railroad worker was killed and several others were injured in the attacks while servicing rail infrastructure. A Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson said the first air-launched weapon successfully to target the capital since June 5th were cruise missiles fired from warplanes over the Caspian Sea, more than 932 miles away. Kyiv's mayor told journalists he thought the airstrikes were maybe a symbolic attack ahead of a NATO summit in Madrid that starts on Tuesday. The G7 leaders were set to announce the latest in a long series of international economic steps to pressure and isolate Russia over its war in Ukraine, new bans on imports of Russian gold. Standing with the German Chancellor, the 3-day meeting's host, Biden said of the missile strikes in Kyiv, it's more of their barbarism. In a phone interview, a retired U.S. general told the Associated Press that Russia has a limited stock of precision missiles, and if they are using them, it's going to be for a special purpose. Russia has denied targeting civilians during the 4-month-old war, and the retired general said that it was hard to know if the missiles launched Sunday were intended to strike the apartments' buildings. Russian forces tried to seize control of Kyiv early in the war. After Ukrainian troops repelled them, the Kremlin largely shifted its focus to southern and eastern Ukraine. On Saturday, Russia launched dozens of missiles on several areas across the country, far from the heart of the eastern battles. Some of the missiles were fired from Russia's long-range Tu-22 bombers deployed from Belarus for the first time, Ukraine's Air Command said. In national news, the Associated Press asked, did corporate greed fuel inflation? It's not the biggest culprit, it answers. Furious about surging prices at the gasoline station and the supermarket, many consumers feel they know where just to cast the blame on greedy companies that relentlessly jack up prices and pocket the profits. Responding to that sentiment, the Democratic-led House of Representatives last month passed on a party-line vote, most Democrats for, all Republicans against, a bill designed to crack down on alleged price gouging by energy producers. Likewise, Britain last month announced plans to impose a temporary 25% windfall tax on oil and gas company profits and to funnel the proceeds to financially struggling households. Yet for all the public sentiment, most economists say corporate price gouging is, at most, one of the many causes of runaway inflation and not the primary one. There are much more plausible candidates for what's going on, said an economist at Spain's University of Navarra. They include supply disruptions at factories, ports, and freight yards, worker shortages, President Joe Biden's enormous pandemic aid program, and COVID-19 caused shutdowns in China, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and, not least, a Federal Reserve that kept interest rates ultra low longer than experts say it should have. In entertainment news, Michelle Morgan is first black lead winner at Daytime Emmys. Michelle Morgan of The Young and the Restless won as lead drama actress, becoming the first black actor to win in the lead category at the Daytime Emmys on Friday night. Morgan was previously nominated in the supporting category. The 35-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago plays Amanda Sinclair on the CBS soap. I am being honored regardless of the color of my skin, regardless of my passport, for being the best at what I do, Morgan said. Now there are little girls all around the world, and they're seeing another step forward, and they know that no matter what their industry, no matter their vocation, no matter what, they can strive to be the best at what they do. Not only can they achieve it, but they will be celebrated. And finally, in more entertainment news, Elvis and Top Gun tie for box office crown with $30.5 million each. Elvis Presley biopic Elvis shook up theaters with an estimated $31 million in weekend ticket sales, but in a box office rarity, Elvis tied Top Gun Maverick, which also reported $31 million for number one in theaters. Final figures today, once Sunday grosses are tabulated, will sort out which film ultimately won the weekend. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Monday and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Your faith can be a beacon that guides you through the storms and protects you through the trials, but first you have to believe. You can't do this alone, so before all else fails, make sure you have your trust in the one that can't. Have an amazing Monday. Kristie Wolfe is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight right here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Kristie Wolfe joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about how Airbnb is helping some creatives to cash in on some great ideas this year. Here's a bit of our conversation.
What makes these unique stays increasingly more appealing to travelers?
You know, I think as they rise in popularity, people are just seeking them out more. I've been building unique stays for 8 years now, full time, and we have fully booked calendars, so that's why we are looking for more people to create these one-of-a-kind places.
And it definitely is unique what you've been able to do, Kristie. As I mentioned, you're the host of the Big Idaho Potato Hotel. What can you tell us about what that experience has been like?
It's been absolutely wonderful. You know, I had 3 unique listings before the Potato Hotel, and I wasn't quite sure how that one would be welcomed, and I was blown away. I thought this was going to be a quirky thing that, you know, I just wanted to do for myself, but the response has just been really crazy. It's been open for about 3 years now. We have a fully booked calendar. We've welcomed over 750 guests. So it's really, really wonderful.
As I mentioned, Kristie, that Airbnb is definitely encouraging this. In fact, that's why they've been able now to start this OMG fund. What can you tell us about this and what they're looking to help to promote these unique property ideas?
Yeah, this is really exciting because, as you can imagine, getting funding for something like a potato hotel or a treehouse is really difficult through a traditional lender. And so Airbnb is launching the OMG Fund. There's $10 million, and we're calling on creative people from all around the globe to submit their crazy ideas for listings. We're going to select 100 winners, and they'll each receive $100,000 to create their listing idea.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News. Prepare to get on tomorrow's more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.